Shoegazing evolved into a celestial art of mesmerism when a slowdive intertwined three guitars with the unearthly murmurs of Neil Halstead and Rachel Goswell, fashioning abstract and immersive atmospheres, and thus slowdive emerged. Right from the outset, it was evident that these individuals were driven by inspiration, earning them the moniker of sound chasers to a certain degree. Established in Reading, England in the late 80s, Slowdive's original lineup comprised Nick Chaplin on bass, Rachel Goswell on guitar and vocals with Neil Halstead, Christian Seibu and Adrian Sell. Goswell, Halstead and Sell had previously formed the core of the Pumpkin Fairies, an indie pop ensemble that had recorded a demo, while Seibu had ties to Ethereal, having released a single on Sarah Records. Remarkably, Slowdive secured the deal with Alan McGee's creation label within a year of their formation, leading to the release of their debut self-titled EP featuring demos. Their trajectory was marked by a consistent propensity to challenge the established norms of shoegaze and dream pop, evident in their penchant for experimentation with ambient soundscapes and psychedelic dream pop across their early EPs and singles. This penchant for innovation found its zenith in their debut album Just for a Day, a sonic journey that sought to encapsulate a sense of yearning within their distinctive, impressionistic aesthetic. Celestial currents and breeze sweep the sublime emanation Catch the Breeze into a metaphysical realm in its dream-like conclusion, while the arched majesty Spanish air glides into a more romantic ambience. This mood barely scratches the surface of Seal's dream, which traverses time across translucent fields of light destined to converge in the exquisite Eric's song, a divine undulating reverie whose pianos depict an ethereal, aqueous realms touching eternity. These compositions could captivate Brian Eno, who will oversee their next album and serves as a primary reference point, given the flawless fusion of guitars, keyboards, and the vocal harmonies, crafting exaggerated forms akin to those found in ambient and new age music. Thus, Slowdive continues psychedelia's protracted quest from a mystical trance in a novel manner, assimilating the teachings of My Bloody Valentine and Cocktail Twins. The sonically upland tracks here, while not necessarily groundbreaking in the realm of dream pop, are as splendid as any others on the roster and affirms Slowdive's adeptness and adhering to established conventions as well as their willingness to experiment. Waves envelopes itself in copious amount of reverb and heavily bright chords, employing vocals in a more textural manner than preceding tracks, resulting in an experience where emotions evoked by instrumentation reign supreme. Brighter and Primal conclude the album with a doubly their finest composition, evoking the primal sense aforementioned to produce the most voluminous, expensive, and radiant tracks of the band's career. It's challenging to find many other compositions that can evoke the same deluge of noise that these have for the past 3 decades. The pressure month for their subsequent record to expand their audience entered via Eno. The venerable producer joined forces with the band to refine their sophomore LP, a ruling process that led to discarding the initial 40 compositions, yet after collaborating, the esteemed Brian Eno on discarding their entirely initial repertoire, Souvlaki was unveiled in 1993, solidifying their status as icons of British shoegaze. The album delivered monumental tracks When the Sun Hits, features a scorching, anthemic guitar work from Goswell, Halstead, and Seibu, while Matching Gun layers pulsating chords that complement the Scots' percussive work, forming a pop ballad foundation. The album heavily distorted, echoing riffs and melodies create a sound that is stretched and manipulated with delicate precision. Souvlaki reads like a photographic chronicle, with scattered beats and snapshots laid out like glimpses of azure skies striking landscapes entered within civilization. Souvlaki evokes an altered state of mind amidst the mundane. Moments of perfect lucidity abound, such as the staggering chorus of Matching Gun or the subdued chamber pop of Here She Comes, interspersed with walls of noise beckoning listeners to lose themselves within. The abrasive yet gently swirling pulse of Souvlaki space station possesses enough force to propel one into space, while the cascading lush guitars resonate powerfully on 40 days. These fragments are interconnected and seamlessly flow back and forth, intertwining dreamy Eno-ski soundscapes with harsh, discordant rock. By the release of the third album, Pygmalion, in February 1995, Slowdive had been inexorably marching towards their own demise. The album had been completed and submitted to Creation Records a year prior, and during this interim, the band had depleted their funds to the point of financial instability. Almost all members were compelled to take on day jobs to make ends meet, while their original drummer, Simon Scott, departed after expressing dissatisfaction with Halstead's vision, a vision notably characterized by a complex gloss that incorporated a drum machine in lieu of Scott's involvement. Pygmalion defies description, existing in an enigmatic realm beyond comprehension. Slowdive distilled the expansive auditory atmospheres of Souvlaki to perfection, imbibing themselves in techno music. Halstead incorporated vocal, synth, and guitar loops, double tracking, and digital effects. This monumental effort breathing new life into ambient pop, laying the groundwork for subsequent luminaries such as Sigur Rós, Boards of Canada, and La Bradford, while enabling the band to craft scintillating atmospheric soundscapes that were disquieting and somber as they were hypnotic and infectious. Rudy initiates proceedings, making an immediate impact, a couple of notes that are delicately plucked, and inherently a voice chimes in. Two sounds reverberate across a vast, empty expanse. After 3 minutes, some subtle tremors of percussion emerge, and a second guitar joins the fray. It's the pace of the sound that is truly breathtaking, so slow yet captivating, all the same during its 10 minutes duration. Crazy for Love ensues, its vocal drenched in a delay of guitars intertwined, heightening the sense of dislocation and estrangement. Indeed, nearly every track here is bewitching in its own right. Miranda exudes an ethereal quality, Trailblazing evokes claustrophobia, and Blue Sky and Clear oscillates between melancholy and ecstasy. The album strikes as an even more formidable effort, diverging from the Shoegaze roots into a more ambient realm, serving as a moody, immersive masterpiece of minimalism. Each track stands out individually, yet coalesces with the others to form a beautiful, crystalline, and deeply moving whole. Between 1994 and the band's resurgence in May 2014, inquiries regarding Slowdive's potential reunion surfaced sporadically, yet discussions invariably fleshed out. Halstead and Goswell were immersed in Mojave 3. This inclined to deviate from the momentum until Goswell's departure and the trio's eventual dissolution in 2011. Slowdive's appearance at Primavera 2014 catalyzed a multi-year itinerary of performances, culminating in the release of Slowdive, their eagerly awaited comeback album in 2017. Slowdive Self-Titled record is a testament to the significance of every element, where sparse melodies and production elements overlay the steady rhythms, with each note assuming the role of the lead protagonist. Every sound serves as a hook simply by virtue of its existence. Once again, the expansiveness of this album warrants mention, as one can practically discern the spaces between elements bridged by delayed and echoed sounds. It's akin to upholding the traditional aspects associated with shoegaze while adhering to a new set of principles, as exemplified by the opener slow-mo. The band can revert to more conventional modes if they choose. Even throughout the album, the diaphanous guitar waltz of Everyone Knows, the thunderous crash of Go Get It, and the swirling rhythms of Don't Know Why epitomize rock anthems, or as close as one can get within the album's context. These grand, guitar-laden tracks evoke the band's past with utmost clarity. As splendid as Star Roving may be the album's centerpiece duo alongside Slow-Mo, these two compositions showcase the pinnacle of achievement when production, arrangement, and songwriting converge seamlessly. While Slowdive's classic musical foundation remains intact, something profoundly different different has been constructed atop in this time around. It leans more towards dream ambient pop than shoegaze, exuding tranquility greater than activity throughout and boosts more their broader dynamic range. Yet all three of these aspects, although unexpected, serves to the album advantage. This album stands as one of the band's most engaging, diverse, and eclectic efforts to date, replayed with distortion, reverb, and other effects. Fast forward to last year, another highly anticipated Slowdive album, Everything Is Alive, emerged, representing an improvement over its predecessor, particularly concerning atmosphere. While their self-titled endeavor, enjoyable as it was, exuded a cleaner, more conventional shoegaze vibe. This project incorporates stronger electronic and ambient influences into its overall sound, whether through keyboards or soft drones, distinguishing it and rendering it a pleasure to listen to. It builds upon the ideas introduced in their previous album, sharing a similar vibe characterized by jangly guitars, groovy drums, buried vocals, and an overall weightlessness accompanied by a sleek, contemporary production propelling the bands into modern era. Overall, it marks a significant rebound for a band that produced some of the most sonically captivating albums of the 90s, with a sound that is undeniably splendid. In summary, Slowdive emerged as a trailblazers in the realms of shoegaze and dream pop, crafting ethereal soundscapes that ensnared listeners with their celestial mesmerism. Despite facing financial adversity and lineup alterations, their legacy endured, culminating in a triumphant return with their self-titled album and the subsequent release of Everything Is Alive, showcasing their capacity to evolve while remaining true to their distinctive sound. Slowdive influence reverberates, solidifying their status as a luminaries in the realm of alternative music.